everyone, I'm ambikaapasrijaa here again with the second poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender. I know many of the students find this poem little tough or boring, you can say, but I will try to make it very interesting for you. This poem has been distributed into 4 parts. First, the classroom description where the different kind of children are sitting. Second, the in detailed description of the classroom. Then their pathetic situation. And fourth, where the poet is optimistic about their future. In this poem, many similes, images and metaphors have been used, which I will try to make you understand when I will explain the poem in detail. Over here, Stephen Spender has explained the poverty in which these slum children live. They are deprived of their basic education. If they are getting education, that is not up to level. And these children have lost the sense of appreciation for literature and for nature because they are deprived from both the aspects. So they don't have that kind of sense of appreciation in them. The poem starts with far, far from gusty waves. These children, faces like rootless weeds. Children, please underline like rootless weeds. Now over here, the children, this is a simile. What are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plants. When we do gardening and whenever we come across weeds, unmindfully we pluck them and throw them. So these children are being compared with weeds, that they are not wanted. They are unwanted children like weeds. Is that clear? Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces like rootless weeds. Their hair torn round the pallor. Now over here the poet doesn't mean literally that their hair are torn. Over here the poet wants to tell you that torn hair means unkept hair. Their hair are not kept properly. They are not combed properly. Pallor, pale face. Why pale face? Because they are not having proper nutrition to eat. Now the tall girl with her weighed down head. Now this tall girl, her head is weighed down. Not because some weight is upon her, because she is subjected to continuous poverty. The paper seeming boy with rat's eye. Underline rat's eye, this is metaphor. Now another boy, he is as thin as paper. It means that child doesn't have skin. It's just having skeleton. Why? Because he's not getting food to eat, which helps to build the proper frame of a body. The stunted, unlucky ear of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease. Underline father's gnarled disease. This is a metaphor. Metaphor is a direct comparison. Another child is suffering from the disease of rheumatism. Rheumatism here means twisted bones. He has inherited that kind of thing from his parents. He is not having any property as you people are going to have. He is having a disease of rheumatism where his bones are twisted and turned. His lesson from his desk at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game on the tree room other than this. Now there is a one boy who is optimistic, who is imaginative, who is not present in the class, but his imagination is running. He is thinking about good things. Now over here the poet has used squirrel game and tree room as a metaphor. The direct comparison with squirrel game and tree room. So first stanza is clear to you all. Far, far from gusty waves, these children faces like rootless weeds. I hope you have underlined it as a simile, right? Rootless weed. Their hair torn round the pillar, the tall girl with her weighed down head. The paper skimming boy with rat's eye. Now rat's eye is a metaphor, I hope you have underlined, where the direct comparison is with rat. As the rat is always in the search of food, in the same way, these children are also in search of food. The stunted, unlucky ear of twisted bones reciting a father's gnarled disease. Gnarled disease is metaphor. The rheumatism problem is inherited from his father. His lesson from his desk at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game. Squirrel's game is metaphor. The comparison is being done over here. There is one child who is into his imaginative world of squirrel's game. On tree room other than this. He is not in the class. He is in his own imagination. I hope the first paragraph is clear to you all. Now, moving to the second one. Now, the poet says in this second paragraph, he is going to paraphrase, he is going to explain the entire classroom. In the first paraphrase, he has explained different children. In this paraphrase, he is going to tell us about the classroom. Children, your classroom is well ventilated. It has a beautiful whiteboard, smart class and ventilators, well ventilated and full of amenities. Nowadays, many of the schools are having air conditioners also. But now we are going to take a peep into their classroom, which is not up to mark. On sour cream wall. Sour over here means, children, unpleasant. It doesn't have a literal meaning. It means unpleasant. Matlab their room is not very pleasant looking. It is unpleasant. On sour cream walls, donations. Shakespeare's head. Children, in these schools, they are not having basic elementary education. What is the importance of Shakespeare here? As I already told you, that they have lost their literary appreciation because they are not well educated. So over here there is a Shakespeare head, which is useless. Cloudless at dawn. Now dawn is sunrise. Now there is one painting over here. That painting is depicting the sunrise. It is depicting the beautiful nature. Natural scene is depicted here, but these children have never an access to the nature and to the literary work. At dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities, belled flowery Troy's valley. Open-handed map, awarding the world its world. Now please understand this. This is a very important point. Now he says that this is a window there, and for these children this window is their map, because they are never going to go beyond this window. The map which is hung over there, that is useless for them. This map is for the world, not for the slum children. This is for the world, because world has an access to this map and slum children have access to this window. They are never going to move out of this window. For them, the window is the map, not the map which is hung on the wall. That is for the world, because the world has an access to that map, not the children who are living in this slum area. And yet for these children, when I explained you earlier only, this window, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all the future is painted with a fog. Underline, painted with a fog. It is metaphor. Now over here children, what is fog? Have you ever driven a car or scooter on the foggy day? You are not clear with anything. Everything is uncertain. Same Stephen Sender wants to illustrate that their life is uncertain. It is not clear what is going to happen ahead. It is not clear with them. They are not clear what is lying ahead for them. This is painted with a fog is a metaphor. Please note it down. Metaphor is a direct comparison. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. Underline lead sky. It's again a metaphor. Lead sky here means lead is of grey color. It is not bright. The sky is bright otherwise, but the poet is using lead sky to put across that their life is uncertain. It is not clear. It's not as beautiful as your life is. Far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of words. Capes over here means mountains. They are far away from the river, they are far away from the mountains, and they are far away from the star of the word, means from the educated people. Children, we have heard this. A man is known by the company he keeps. If you are always with educated people, you will become more well versed. Now they are away from educated people, they are away from the mountains, they are away from the nature. They are away from all the things which are going to help them to build better. So is it clear? In the second paraphrase, we have read about the classroom, and you can compare and contrast your classrooms with the classroom in an elementary school classroom in a slum. In the third paraphrase, he is describing their life, their pathetic situation. How are they existing? Surely Shakespeare is wicked. I already told you, because they don't have basic elementary education. So Shakespeare is for high and well-read people. So there is no relevance of Shakespeare with these slum children people. The map a bad example. I already told you why is map a bad example. They don't have an access to the world. They are going to live in the slum area where they are away from the nature. So for them, this window is their map, not the map which is hung over there. With ships and sun and love tempting them to steal. Now children, when we have all these allurations, attractions, we want to have that. And when we want to have that, we are tempted to do something which is not correct for us. We are tempted to steal. For lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes. Cramped holes here where they cannot stand straight. So their lives are being compared to the cramped holes, that they have to live a life where they cannot even stand erect. From fog to endless night. Again, fog is what? It's a symbol of uncertainty. Night is again dark. Again a symbol of uncertainty. Their life is not certain at all. It is from fog to endless night. That night which is not going to come to an end. On this slack heap, these children wear skin, peep through by bones and spectacles of steel. Now over here, they are living in a very pathetic situation. They are not living very hygienically. They are living in the heap of these garbage, and they are wearing the spectacles which are discarded by someone, which is not very well kept, which is not made of good quality. Like when you go to buy a spectacle, you want that your lenses should be up to mark, they should have no flaw, nothing like that. But they are not having that kind of spectacles. Their spectacles are being compared to the bottle bit of stones. Now with mended glass like bottle bit on stones. Please underline like bottle bit on stone. This is a simile. Their spectacles are being compared with the bottle bits on stones, means their spectacles are not of very high, good quality. All of their time and space are foggy slum. Again, foggy symbol, uncertain, not sure what is stored for them. Now, so blot their maps with slum as big as doom. As big as doom is simile. Doom is death. Now their slum area is being compared with death. It is not viable to live in slum area, children. If you are told to go and live in a slum area for one day, you won't be able to live. So see, these children are living there. In the first paraphrase, we read about 4 to 5 children. In the second paraphrase, we read about the classroom. Third paraphrase, we read about their situation, how they are making their lives, and what kind of spectacles are they wearing, how are they existing, and their life has become like dead people. Now in the last paragraph, he says that everything comes into activity when some governor or some policeman or some high profile people come over there. Now he says that these people should only do something for them. Otherwise, so their life is very bad, which is not up to living. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window. Now he says unless these high profile people do not intervene into their lives, this window will be their map. Nothing will be changed for them. That shut upon their like catacombs. Underline like catacombs. Again simile. Catacombs is a long, gallery kind of a thing, which just have windows, nothing else, where subterranean cemeteries are made. So they are being compared with catacombs. Break, oh break open, till they break the town. He says something should be done for them. Otherwise they will do something. They will create ruckus. So we do not want that they should do something which is not acceptable by us. So before they do something, we should do something for them. And show the children to green fields. I already told you that they have lost a sense of appreciation of nature because they do not have an access to the nature. So the poet wants that we should take them to the nature. And show the children to green fields and make their world run azure on gold. They should run on the sand. Golden color sand is there. They should run on that. They should have an access to the nature. And let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open. Now the poet wants that only the media with which they can grow is the education. So we should give them proper education, and once they're educated, they're going to do wonders in their lives. Towards the end, the poet wraps up the poem very beautifully by saying, history theirs whose language is the sun. Sun is bright, sun shines. So he says that if you want to create any history, if you want to create any change, make them educated. Give them education. If you give them education, definitely they are going to come out of their ruckus. They are going to come out of their situation. So over here, Stephen Spender has beautifully pen portrayed the pathetic situation of the slum children. And he feels and he yields earnestly that something should be done for them. So they should be free from the shackles of this kind of life. I hope that you have understood the poem thoroughly. And if you have not understood, I have given the detail of similes, metaphors, images, paraphrases in my class, which is on Google Classroom app. You can join there by noticing the code which is given in the description. I'm repeating, you can join my class on Google Classroom app, whose code is given in the description below. Thank you and see you day after with the next poem. Love you all.